Alrighty then, hey guys, and welcome back. It is day 8 today of my Agrarian Skies 2-week challenge series. Yesterday I threw together my reactor and turbines and such, and got some lasers going. You can see I've expanded that a little bit. We'll get onto that in a little moment, but first today I want to do blood magic. I want to do it properly, where I mean to go from this useless little tier 2 to the tier 5 by the end of the day, and then we're going to use that blood magic to get our farms going properly. So I'm pretty confident we can get through that. The real challenge though will be jamming it into a 30-minute episode, so we might be going a bit over time today. But that's okay. We'll do the news, the things that have happened between episodes. So as you can see, I added 3 more turbines. Each of these is chilling at 24k RF a tick. And that's all that power is going up there to these 8 laser drills I have now. Which is then just tesseracting items into my base, into my machines. So each of those is taking 10, which means I have an extra 12k RF lying about, not really doing anything. I could turn this down. You can see it's a little bit hot right now. It's using about 0.16, like 13 or 14 yellorium, I don't know exactly. About the same as this one using 10 an hour. Around about, let's say, between 20 and 30 yellorium. But these are pulling out between them an item every second. So that's 3600 ore an hour. So I'm pretty sure in that 3600 ore I'm getting enough yellorium to keep these guys running with quite a bit left over. And that's kind of important to run at slightly lower efficiencies, just to keep my cyanite stocks up so I can make more turbines. This is currently at 50% capacity. I could turn it down even further to a 40%, at which point these would be slightly underperforming, but they'd still be able to keep up with this setup. I'm not going to do that because I don't need to. The micromanagement is not really something I'm into, but you know, you could like fiddle with these and get your everything working so that your reactor is not constantly full of steam, because that increases its heat, which therefore increases its fuel usage. So I'll be doing that when it's all set up, but until I have all my turbines going, that's not something I'm interested in doing. Right, so over here, I swapped these dirt farms over to potatoes, so they're grinding down potatoes when I've got lots, like 20,000 potatoes. I'm using that to make bread. Here I'm taking my witch water from my witch water farm and throwing it in here with some sand when I have less than 10,000 soul sand. It's not going because I currently do have 10,000 soul sand. So that's that quest done. It'll just need handing in. I'll turn those down later to keep me a stock of soul sand even after I've done the quest. Also I upgraded my water farm downstairs because the witch water and such was running me a little bit dry. So I've got more aqueous accumulators going. To get started in blood magic today, I needed a couple of things that I didn't really have. I needed some sugar, so I sieved like a stack of dirt, got some sugar seeds, made a little mini sugar farm here, and that's sending sugar cane into this pulverizer when I've got more than 2 stacks, to keep me in stock of sugar, because it's a 2-to-1 ratio when you pulverize your sugar cane to get sugar. The other thing I need to do to get some blood magic going was not right now, but certainly pretty soon. I'm going to need some gas tears. So I have that spawn squid egg I made earlier. I'm going to throw him in this witch water. He makes a ghast, which hits me once and flies through the laser drills there, burning himself. So now I have a ghast in a fire net. So I come down here to my... I always forget which of these is which. To my spawn rooms. I've made a second one actually, down here, which is a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna... This room is higher. It's exactly the same as the other spawning room upstairs though, apart from the extra height. Oh, again the wrong room. This one, which currently has nothing going on. I threw some pink slimes in there earlier to make the pink slime I needed for the laser drills. But if we throw a ghast in here, turn it on, just stand back. This should work. I haven't actually tested this yet, but this should be big enough to start spawning ghasts in here. There goes one. I'll shut the door, and the grinders will kill it. You can see on my minimap he's disappeared. So that's a bit slow, because the auto-spawner, once it spawns the first ghast, struggles to spawn another one. But that's going to keep me in stock of ghast tears. which I'm going to need for doing alchemy and such later, and also to make sure I've got enough safari nets for all the safari netting I want to be doing. Right, so we're getting pretty on for time, obviously, in terms of the actual 2-week challenge. So a lot of you might know that I need to make an octuple compressed cobblestone, 43 million cobblestone by the end of 2 weeks. What most of you might not know is in the later versions of Agrarian Skies, you actually need to make 5 of these. Not just 1, 5, so that's a little over 215 million cobblestone. So down here, I've got my igneous extruders going. This is a pretty tedious task putting all these together, but it needs to be done. I've got 512 of these, and they're putting out about 1.2 million cobble an hour. At that rate, it's going to take me about a little under 7.5 days to get the 215 million cobble I need. So I don't actually have 7.5 days. I've got like 6 and 18 hours, so I'm going to need to be expanding this a little bit later. And the longer I wait, the more I'll need to expand it in order to meet my deadline of 215 cobble by the end of the series. But that can wait for later. This is pretty tedious to put together, and I've got no desire to do it again right now. So, the one last thing I did over here was I added some storage monitors, so I know what's going on. You can swap those out with whatever. I added a second infuser, and that's keeping me a second resonant flux capacitor. So if this one ever runs out, the one I'm using to charge my wireless terminal, I can just swap it out, as opposed to having to wait for another one to cook. The other thing is I added this I/O port, so if I want to say upgrade my 4K storage drives I have in here, these are 4K storage drives, and make them instead 64K storage drives, instead of just keeping these, because they fill up and then their items spill over into other drives and it's not ideal. I take a 4K drive, I put it in here, it empties its storage into the 64Ks or whatever space is available. Then I can kind of shift right click it. It takes out the storage segment. So I throw the storage segment in and ask for a cluster. It uses that segment to make the cluster. And we give it a little minute. There it goes. So now I have a cluster instead of a segment. I can combine that with the empty housing to make the 64K and replace the original one. So I'm going to do that with all of these over time. So I've just got 64K chips through all my drives. Right, so now we can get on to some blood magic proper. I've made a little setup here, nothing too fancy, it's just a chemistry set with an apprentice orb. Beforehand I made 5 simple catalysts. I used 4 of those to make these 2 weak binding agents. So with these weak binding agents I can do things like, first of all, complete a blood magic quest, which is here, and grab me another potion flask, because this might be a good one. It is no effects. Nope. It is invisibility. I already had a no effects potion, so I don't really want invisibility. What I did want was flight, so I'm going to combine this potion flask with a binding agent and a feather. The little things are going to go about. The feather is going to bind itself to the potion to make a potion of flight. It's a bit useless right now because it only lasts a minute. Later I want to add a lengthening catalyst to that to give me 18 minutes of flight instead of just 1, and it'll be pretty useful. I'll get rid of this. The other binding I wanted to be doing was taking my regeneration potion with a weak binding agent and a greater power catalyst, and this I got from the quest reward earlier. I think it was this one, one of these quest rewards, this one here, for making my divination sigil. I got a power catalyst. So I'm gonna... My mistake, I forgot that in order to increase the power of my regeneration flask, I need to add the component of regeneration, which just so happens to be a ghast here that I've currently got a bunch of. So this now should work. I've got the key component. You need another ghast here. And it'll be the same here when I want to upgrade my... and that doesn't need a binding agent. More fool me. It's been a while since I've done some blood magic. So a couple little mistakes there, but that's okay. But like I say, it'll be the same here when I want to upgrade this flight potion, the lengthening catalyst. That's going to require me to add a feather as well as the lengthening catalyst. Right, so now I have this potion flask. I'm going to take this over here. This is a lot of regeneration right now. Regeneration 4 instead of just regular. So if I kind of go like this, drink it, and then stab myself, you can see how quickly this regens for me. And that's going to last the 45 seconds apparently instead of the 7 minutes, but that's okay. This is still quite a lot of blood coming through. Then what I can do is, because I've got this little set up here, this is currently set to pipe out blank slates. So in this chest I can just put stones and continue to stab myself until this finishes, which is going to take a little while. I probably could have put less stones in there, but this is going to make me a bunch of blank slates. So I'm going to use this technique to rush my way to a witch reactor. Alrighty guys, so I got a bit impatient with that regeneration potion. It wasn't lasting very long, it was slowly running out, and I couldn't refill it until I got to tier 3. Because you need the tier 3 orb to make the refilling agent to refill your potions. So instead I made this villager spawner. It's just going to pump villagers in that I can murder with the Dagger of Sacrifice for much better LP, and I'm going to refit this system later to make my witch reactor. So we've just got a villager in here, villager's Farinet, and a tesseract that's hooked up in the main base to mob essence and power. So I flick this on, we wait for the idle bar to go down, which gives you time to run away if you're spawning really bad guys. And then the villagers start coming out. Elvis Presley, some other guy. Which is good because I've run out of blood down here trying to make slates. So we're just going to sit here and kill these guys as they come in. Alright guys, so while I've been doing that, a priest came along, because the villagers are set to not spawn exact copy, so I'm getting all kinds of different kinds, including this guy, the priest one. So he's pretty cool. I'm going to drag him over here, throw him in the witch water, he turns into a witch, and I'm going to save that witch for later, because we're going to be using her for some of the rest of our blood magic stuff. Alrighty guys, so I've put together our tier 3 reactor. Still got these villagers just making horrible noises. I should probably have got a sound muffler. So it's pretty simple really. It's just 28 runes, and you can see that 23 of them are speed runes, and 5 here are sacrifice runes to increase my villager blood efficiency. I'm more interested in increasing my processing speeds, so I can throw stones through there and get slates and such faster. So yeah, it's just the 28 runes and these 4 glowstone bricks for the tier 3 altar that you can see here. So now, pretty simple stuff, we move on to the tier 4, which requires a little bit more work. Awesome, so with this tier 3 altar, I could throw a gold block in here, murder some more villagers, and make myself the magician's blood orb, like so. So the gold blood orb, 25,000 LP. The gold block, 25,000 LP. Pretty simple stuff. That also means, I believe, that I've completed this quest, and I'm going to get the ritual stones, because I'm going to be using those to upgrade this altar. Alrighty then, so we're about set to throw together our tier 4 altar here, and we need the tier 4 altar in order to make us the Well of Suffering that we really want to automate our LP collection. To make that tier 4 though, we're going to want us some bloodstone bricks to throw on top of these pillars. You need to do that to upgrade your altar to tier 4. To make those bloodstone bricks, we need this blood shard. We can multiply it later, but to get it now, we need to kill some mobs with a bound sword. So we're going to make a bound sword now. So first, I've made myself a bunch of ritual stones and a ritual master stone that you can see I've thrown down here in its nice big own platform. I've also made myself a ritual diviner, like so. So that's just all these here inscription tools, which, you know, lapis, lazuli block, magma cream, obsidian, and a ghast here, all in the tier 3 altar, this one here, with 1000 LP each. I've also made myself the weak activation crystal, which is one of these guys, a lava crystal with, you know, fluxed electrum and such. in a tier 3 altar again, but with 10,000 LP. It's still pretty simple. It's like 2 or 3 murdered villages. So with our Ritual of Binding, our Activation Crystal, and our Master Ritual Stone, and various Ritual Stones here, we're going to do this Binding Ritual to make ourselves the Bound Sword. So this is set to Ritual of Binding. What we do is whack the Master Stone until and so it builds the ritual for us. We wait until it's finished, we check that it's done, it looks pretty good to me. Cool, so then we take our Activation Crystal, and this is going to cost a little bit of LP out of my life network. You can see I'm currently maxed with my Magician's Orb at 150,000, and this is only going to take 5. So, we make sure this is bound to us, the Activation Crystal is bound to us. We activate the ritual, it starts doing, some particles come up. We throw a diamond sword onto it, and shit gets whack. We take damage. Cool, and there's our bound sword. Just gonna grab that, put out all this fire. So now with this bound sword, I'm gonna shift right click to activate it, and that's gonna start draining. That's gonna take LP. It's also gonna take LP to swing. Looks like actually it didn't take any to activate, it's just per swing. Yeah, 100 per swing. So you can see that's... Well, I've used 100 somehow. It takes LP to use. It's taking much less than I thought it would. So we're going to murder some mobs right now with that. To get set, I'm just going to take my jetpack here, and I've made some Enderium armor plating, which is just throwing some resources through the induction smelter. You have to upgrade your armor plating by starting with iron, then throwing in an induction smelter with bronze, then Invar, then Enderium. You've got your fancy armor plating. You shift right click your jetpack to bring it on, and now I've got an armored jetpack. So, I'm going to take my bound blade. I've also flown into my mob room, turned the, keep getting them mixed up, flown in here with the grinders off, and got me a skeleton and a safari net. So we're going to kill some skeletons, just because they're pretty cool. So I turn this on. We only need 3 blood shards at a minimum. 1 to make the bloodstone bricks, 1 to make the master blood orb, and 1 to... this is probably enough skeletons. Well, they can't actually damage me. And 1 to actually multiply the blood shards, so using the blood shard multiplying recipe. Alright, so we got our 3 blood shards. We used 1 to make 32 bricks, just like so. And we've got 2 left over in our bag for later. So we're going to take those bricks over here, throw them on top of the second tier pillars. So it's 4 up from the base. So it's 1 higher than these glowstone ones, which were 2 up. And that should give us the tier 4 altar, as you can see. So now we're going to use that tier 4 altar to put us together the Well of Suffering. Alrighty then, so I used that tier 4 altar just now to upgrade my ritual to the second tier that can use dusk runes. It's just required 2 of these dusk inscription tools, which was 2 blocks of coal with minimal LP in a tier 4 altar, and these 2 demonic slates, which are just the upgraded version of the regular slates, the tier 4 slates I guess. I think they can even make a better one. Nope, that's it, that's the best slate. So now we're going to use that fancy new ritual maker tool. We can combine it with 36 ritual stones and a master ritual stone. Up here you can see I've got rid of my villager chute. It should be obsolete now. I might have to rebuild it, but I believe I can just sort of go like this. Now I want to find the Well of Suffering. Crusher, Speed, Shepherd, Suffering. And build it up like this. It's worth noting I'm like 5 or 6 blocks above. The Well of Suffering will work if the altar is 10 blocks below it. So, we've got some leeway, we've got some wiggle room, but we're building it above. So we're just going to go like so. And so it looks a little bit like this. A little bit wiggly wobbly. I'm just going to light up some of these stones. And we'll now before we activate it, build ourselves a nice room that we can use to actually use the well. So we're going to build a room and fill it with witches, and then we'll be ready to rock. Alright, so I've made a big old structure here. This is like a jail where the witches are going to live, which is close enough to the Well of Suffering ritual here, that it's going to be able to damage them and pour blood into the altar like so. So I've rejiggered my conveyor belts here, so I'm going to spawn witches in here. They're going to come up like so. They're going to wander up, just come up this direction, and fall into the top of the little witch jail I have here. Like so. What you can also do, obviously, is put your spawner actually in the jail. The thing I have with that is eventually it's going to run out of room to spawn them. So with this technique I can jam more witches into a smaller space, because it's going to keep clearing them out and the spawner is going to be able to keep going. It might get a bit iffy in terms of like mobs clipping together. I've made all the walls too thick to try and avoid most of those problems. But the more witches I have in here, the less sacrifice runes I need in order to keep up with my speed runes. The sacrifice to speed runes ratio is kind of important. You want a lot of LP coming in, but you also want to be able to use it as quickly as possible. So the more witches, the less sacrifice runes I need to get large amounts of LP coming in, which means I can use more speed runes to increase the rate at which I can infuse things in the altar, recharge my LP, and the faster I have LP coming in, the more rituals I can use for other things. Right, so first we need our witches. We're going to come over here. We've got an anvil and a name tag. So we're going to call the name tag, these are our witches that are going to burn, so they're all heretics. We're sacrificing them to our god. So we're just going to grab this. So we're going to name our witch, and by doing that we ensure that she doesn't despawn. So I'll just throw her down. She's going to get pretty angry, but that's alright. So we've got Jade the Heretic. So now we come over here. We're going to throw her in the... remove the villager. Throw her in the auto spawner with set exact copy to yes, so they're all name tagged and all going to not despawn. So now we pump witches from this area into our jail, and we're going to keep going until this is full to our satisfaction. We're also going to murder a couple of witches because we need to do that for a quest, and then we'll be pretty much set to go. We'll get rid of this whole contraption because it's a bit in the way. We'll be able to turn our Well of Suffering on, and slowly but surely these are going to start walking in. Because I've got them set to spawn exact copy, it's going to use more mob essence and generally work slower. So this is going to take a little while, but we're going to slowly fill our jail with witches. And you can see we've got a bunch. Alrighty, so we've got a couple of witches in here already, and they're just going to keep plopping in little doof doof sounds. So they're just sort of milling about. Cram that a little bit more full, but we might as well just get this thing going. So we're going to activate our Well of Suffering. So that's going. So now, these should start taking damage on pulses, and you can see they're all turning red on pulses. So that's the Well of Suffering damaging them. And then down here, this should be pretty much full, actually. So if I take my Divination Sigil, I can see that this is full. So I'm going to take the Master Blood Orb I made earlier with one of those 3 blood shards, pop that down, and it's going to start eating blood. It's going to eat it quite quickly, and as more witches come in range of the Well of Suffering, I'm going to be able to get more blood in faster. But that's slowly, as you can see, bringing up my LP. So we've got an insane amount of witches in here. There's standing room only, really. And none of them can really clip out. I'd be a bit concerned about jamming more in there, but so that's our little jail full of witches. They're bleeding pretty copiously into our basin through the Well of Suffering. So what I'm going to do is, and you can see I've taken a bunch of damage now actually. I just tried to fight some witches and they poisoned me, but I killed enough to complete the quest for later. So I'm going to throw this block of nether quartz in here. And the goal is to keep that at such a pace that the basin fills faster than the nether quartz can empty it. And you can see that's what's happening. It's going down to about 9k, and then spiking up to 10. So that's keeping that full, so that's just going to churn away slowly, and the reason for that is it's going to make me a nether cube. So you don't actually need to kill a wither to get a nether cube, you can just literally make them with nether quartz and a bunch of LP. It's going to take a lot. As you can see here, it's 400,000 LP, so that's going to take a little while, even with these speed runes. But you can see at the rate it's chewing through it, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, so with 400,000, that's going to be a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I've got myself 3 more nether quartz blocks here, so I'm going to take this item out and set it to import for now actually, so it doesn't get wild and crazy. I'm going to throw in on a blacklist the block of quartz. Then I'm going to throw the block of quartz on here, and that's actually going to go and take forever, but it's going to provide me with 4 nether cubes, which are then just going to be pumped out into this chest. So that's going to take ages, but it means I don't have to fight any withers, and I can do what I want while I wait. The one reason I now might want to kill a wither is to get the division sigil. This guy here, in order to make some cursed earth. It's one of the ways you can get it is by murdering the wither. You can also, if the fancy takes you, you can trade with a peck, or hope to get it in a reward bag. So what I'm going to do now is, while this all gets cooking, I'm going to move on to completing some quests. Just the quests that I've currently got available to me. Alright, so our nether cube's finally cooked up. It took a hell of a long time, 1.6 million LP cranked into these 4 nether quartz blocks. Not helped by the fact that while I was waiting, I did in fact run out of LP, so the whole process had to start again. And I got nauseous and such. But that's okay, we didn't sit around doing nothing while we waited. During the very long interim, I completed a bunch of quests, all kind of basic stuff that I had access to, things like 10,000 ice, 10,000 soul sand, thousands of sticky pistons and regular pistons, and 700 cobble, sand, etc, etc. Completed all the Linux Skyblock basic ones. Thought I'd finally get around to that, because they unlock other quests. I was putting it off because I didn't want to go to the nether, but I went to the nether. I just built myself a portal down here. Cool. I also did all the steel-powered flight ones. One more You're a Wizard Steve one, just these sky shards I ground up. Some go with the flow stuff, so cryothium, mob essence, milk, destabilized redstone, pyrothium, I think I already said, I don't know. A bunch of these that I had access to. I still haven't done mushroom soup, sewage, honey, DNA, seed oil. A bunch of these need bees. Some more of them just need some machines I haven't made yet. The bioreactor and the distiller fertilizer thing to make ethanol. Right. Also in those I got a bunch of crap out of reward bags, but one thing I got was not crap, and that was the division sigil. One last thing I can do is cheat on this quest, using a reward bag to complete a quest, and submit one of each shard, and grab one final reward bag. Oh, there it is. There it is, just at the very end, when we'd given up all hope. Which is nice. It means that with this method of making nether cubes, and also that division sigil, I never need to kill a wither. That's it. That's all you'd kill withers for. I guess you could farm them, because they also drop yellow heart canisters. But that's not really something I'm into. So we also completed all our runes. We've got all the runes up to tier 5. And they're all just speed and sacrifice runes. So now, pretty simple. I throw my nether cubes in here. Make myself 1, 2, 3, 4 beacons, and just kind of go like this and put them in my hotbar. Oh, they do stack, I'm an idiot. And throw these on all my copper blocks. I'm not going to activate these, because I don't need the bonuses you get. I don't want them or like them very much, quite frankly. I also don't like the lasers. That's all you need to do though to make your tier 5 altar. So if I take my divination sigil over here, you can see that I'm at a tier 5 altar. So this has been day 8. Today we've managed to crank ourselves out a tier 5 blood altar. We've also done us a hell of a lot of miscellaneous questing, including completing learning to skyblock, steel powered flight, and getting about 40% through for the hoarding and go with the flow, as well as a sneaky little reward bag giving us a quest worth of shards in the Thorncraft questline. Stop by tomorrow. We'll be summoning some demons to crank out the rest of this blood magic stuff, cranking through Hell's Kitchen with some blood magic rituals, and as ever adding more turbines, more drills, and more extruders downstairs. So, thanks again so much for stopping by. As always, it has been a real pleasure. I've been LDC, you've been excellent, and this has been day 8 of my Agrarian Skies 2-week challenge series.